Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle and triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Bridget Hom. Bridget is a professional emotional intelligence life and business coach. She focuses on helping entrepreneurs and leaders in industries to partner with their future successful selves, gain a romance with life, ooh la la, and create empowered client interactions. Bridget is here today to talk about her journey through addiction, motherhood, and how her life has landed her on a path of entrepreneurship. Welcome, Bridget. How are you?
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I'm fantastic.
What's the number one lesson you've learned about life?
That when you focus on your own, showing up well for yourself, you are inevitably will partner with less expectations and resentments. And actually, I heard from someone this weekend that expectations are premeditated resentments, which was hysterical. Expectations are premeditated
let me write that
resentments.
down. Okay,
Don't
wait.
you like that?
Expectations are
Premeditated resentments. And I heard
that is so true.
I was so impressed with that. And so like in thinking about that, I'm like, okay, what is the goal? The goal is for me to show up authentically and to show up well. And I'm no longer partnered with that codependent way of living where I'm constantly seeking to, tell other people how to show up well or having expectations for them. I just expect to show up well. And that's my number one expectation, which I can always control. It's always about self-regulating myself first. And then I seek to empower others to do the same. But it's with a different energy. It's much more positive than with that negative pull of like, you will do this. And, I always share this with people, because most of us either live in a place of self-regulating ourselves emotionally and, in all other capacities, or we live in a codependent state. And so I always like to say, if you're feeling out of your mind, you're probably in somebody else's. Oh, and when you're in somebody else's, you're definitely out of your mind.
Yes.
Right? How many people, and then honestly, I talk about this, I say, how many times, you're in a relationship with someone, right? Typically, most of us are in romantic relationships with our thoughts about our significant others versus the significant other themselves.
100%. I agree with that. Yeah. That's the whole thing of marrying potential.
Yes.
It's like marrying who you think they ought to be versus who they actually are. Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of those relationships in my past.
Oh, we all have.
I always joke that I feel like there should be some sort of schooling regarding that before you're even allowed to jump into a relationship, because there's just so much,
There is. It's so much to learn. And we're not taught high emotional intelligence. The number one way I can explain emotional intelligence is actually in a quote. And it's Aristotle's quote. And it's the mark of an educated mind is the ability to entertain a thought without accepting it.
100%.
Right?
That's the way that I lead my life. And that's a lot of this podcast even, because sometimes I have on guests where I'm just like, that is fucking wrong.
You're like, do I say this now or later?
I don't say nothing. I'm just like, girl, you go, girl. And all of your goodness. But that's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes the world so beautiful, is all of those differences, I think.
Oh yeah, we're a beautiful mess.
Yeah.
Humanity, we are a beautiful mess.
Yes, definitely. As far as, I know that you're a mother. What are you a mother of, by the way? Mother
What am I
of,
right?
how many children do you have?
Oh Lord. At one point I said I wanted to have the children of the world and I wanted to become a nun. None of the gentlemen I've ever dated, which I only dated one really or two, and then I married them, right? They were like, yeah, okay, I believe you. I've always had that closeness relationship with God, but that love for the world and the children in it. However, I only ended up having 3 children. I lovingly call them my 3 savages because, they're boys. And so I get to be a mom of 3 boys. Boy mom, all the way.
What has being a mom of 3 boys taught you?
What is it? What?
What has being a mom of 3 boys taught you?
Well, it taught me that if I don't lift weights and work out now, I'm not going to keep up with them for very long. I should be budgeting or creating a savings account just for food alone for the teenage years.
It gets worse.
And then I've got to stay physically fit to keep up with them. Also, it's also made me aware of dress, to be honest, and the mannerisms that I display and how I respond and react to their comments, no matter how old they are. I have an 11, 7, and 4-year-old or 5-year-old boy now. And I'm very aware that they're going to most likely choose someone who's like me in some capacity. So I have to be the best role model I could possibly be for them at any given moment. They're always watching.
Yeah. 100%. I agree.